Good morning, good afternoon, and we're here in the UK, it's actually evening time now. But welcome to this webinar on Naibor Camps in Kenya. This is the first time we've done an evening webinar, and we are going to be doing them now every Wednesday. We're holding our client webinars on at 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock UK time. So hopefully it means that for those of you particularly based in the States, this is going to open you up to actually attending our webinars live, which I know is feedback that quite a few of you sent to us. So yeah, do tune in at the same time every Wednesday to get an update on one of our clients each week. But thank you so much for joining me this evening or this afternoon. And I'm delighted to be able to present to you about Naibor Camps in Kenya. Now, for us in the UK, this is very exciting because Kenya is now, we're finally allowed to travel there, which is amazing news. We're just hoping with bated breath that the rest of Africa will be able to come online shortly. But so for us, over the last 2 weeks since Kenya has been open, bookings and interest have just gone through the roof. So it's, which is why we decided to restart our autumn webinar schedule with Naibor Camps in Kenya. But Naibor Camps actually is our oldest client at Small World Marketing. We've been working with them for 15 years. And I can count on one hand the number of complaints I've had from Naibor over those 15 years. It really is just such a safe sell. They are in an amazing location, amazing accommodation, guiding, food, all the elements just really, really work. And they are just the most lovely, lovely team to work with. So we're very proud to have a 15-year history with Naibor Camps. So in terms of location, they are located in the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya. So it's about a 40-minute flight from Nairobi. And the nearest airstrip is Olkiombo. You can drive, but it's a 6-hour drive. So to be honest, no one does. As I'm sure many of you will know, the internal flight network in Kenya is absolutely brilliant and very affordable. So really, it's best to fly there. So this is a very professionally drawn map of the camp itself and in the location of the reserve itself. So Naibor Camp is located right in the heart of the reserve. It's about a 10-minute drive to the nearest wildebeest crossing, and it's overlooking the Talek River. So it is really, really central. As I say, the nearest airstrip is Olkiombo. As soon as you get off the plane and into your vehicle, you're on a game drive. You're just in the middle of the savannah. So it's a short transfer, only about 20 minutes, but it's amazing to arrive and literally be thrown straight into game drive as soon as you get there. This is another professionally drawn map of the camp itself. So you have the Talek River that runs through the camp. And the camp is actually split into 3 sections. So we have Naibor Wilderness here, Main Naibor here in the middle, and then round the bend in the river is Little Naibor. And Little Naibor is 2 big tents with 2 bedrooms inside each tent. So it's perfect for families. So in Main Naibor, there are 7 tents. In Little Naibor, there are 3 with a little mess area as well. And then in Naibor Wilderness, there are 3 with a little mess area as well. And then Little Naibor has 2 big tents. Naibor Wilderness was opened probably about 6 years ago now, and the reason behind opening that was because Naibor often get approached by small privately guided groups who are very, very keen photographers to come and stay because they are just in the best location in terms of photography. So they felt actually to create a little camp that can be its own little private camp would work well. But also what's very clever about the design is that it's actually located very near the main camp as well. So if, for example, you have guests that don't have the budget to go to Main Naibor, they can stay in Naibor Wilderness, have all their meals in the mess area with everyone else. They essentially don't know they're in the cheaper tents because this whole area is very wooded. So they can have this slightly more simple design tent, but actually still have exactly the same experience as the rest of the guests at Naibor. So Naibor's rates are very competitive. They also have these amazing special offers. They've run probably for about 8 years now. So they're consistently running the same offers. So that is 4 nights for the price of 3, really throughout the whole year, except for peak season. And then they also have 3 nights for the price of 2 for the first half of the year, and then also from the 1st of November to the 20th of December. So really, really competitive rates. I'll actually tell you the rates in a short while, but first of all, I want to just tell you a bit more detail about the 3 different accommodation types. So as I mentioned, there are 3 tents in Naibor Wilderness, so that can fit 6 people. And they also have this private mess area, which can either be used as an exclusive private group area or for them to be able to be completely immersed in the main camp as well. 7 tents in Main Naibor, and then 2 tents in Little Naibor with 2 bedrooms inside each tent. So as I mentioned, it's on the Metallic River, right in the heart of the Mara Reserve, 40-minute flight from Wilson. The rates start at 483. This is obviously full board rate, fully inclusive rate, including everything except for conservation fees and extras like spa treatments and obviously hot air ballooning. But obviously don't forget, obviously they have a really, really competitive special offers which you can apply to really the whole year except for peak season. Activities, when you're staying in the Mara Reserve, really the main focus is game drives. You are right in the heart of the ultimate safari country. So it's about getting out in that vehicle, seeing the game, which is all around you. You can do other activities like game walks, but to do that, you're not allowed to do walks in the reserve. So it's about a 40-minute drive to the Talek Gate, and then we do the walks in the Talek Conservancy. To be honest, most people staying at Naibor will have twinned with somewhere else like Kipia, which is all about getting out safari vehicle, getting walking, doing horse riding. So much more of a kind of adventurous safari experience. Really, when you're in the Mara, you want to get in that vehicle and get out, game watching, because that's what it's all about. In terms of other activities, obviously we can organise hot air balloon rides. We always say to our agents, if you do have clients that are interested in hot air balloon rides, then please book them in advance, because we often get guests who come, then decide they want to do a hot air balloon ride and they're fully booked up, because obviously they're so weather dependent. So if they can't fly one day, they then push those bookings to the next day. So it's definitely worth booking in advance before your clients actually travel there. And then cultural village visits as well, we can organise. And again, we go to the Talek Conservancy to do that. So in terms of the actual design of the accommodation, so these are the rooms in main Naibor. All the tents in Naibor are this lovely light fabric tents. They're switched around, so you actually open them the long sides. They're really light and airy. The furniture in main Naibor was made from this lovely chunky kind of fig tree wooden furniture. So really kind of contemporary but light and airy. They all have these lovely day beds, because you actually spend quite a lot of time in your room when you're on safari. When you come up from your morning drive, and you have your rest for going on your afternoon drive. So the rooms are really large and spacious and comfortable. They've got their vanity unit outside the tent, but really open and light and airy. They have ensuite bathrooms with flushing toilets and safari showers. Now, I think particularly the American market, they always get worried about safari showers. Trust me, you cannot outstay a safari shower. I literally stood there trying to see if I can outlast the safari shower, and the buckets are so huge and they fill them with so much hot water that you can't outweight one. It's all part of the experience as well. So they're amazing, the safari showers, and they do have flushing toilets, and then they have the wash basins and the vanity unit outside the tent as well, but obviously all within the vicinity. And there's lovely big day beds as well, but just really lovely and light and airy. And then these are the tents in Little Naibor. So these are brilliant for 2 couples or families traveling together. So they're 2 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms either side, and then this lounge area in the middle. But really light and big and spacious, wooden floorboards, so slightly more Moroccan in style. You'll see the interior design is slightly more Moroccan. One thing that is worth noting, particularly if you have families with younger children, is the lounge area between is actually, I'm going to quickly flick back to that slide, is actually open. So at night, for example, you see here, there's no tent kind of closing together. So at night, if you've got clients that are particularly nervous, or you might just want to maybe suggest that the parents split up and maybe each sleep with a child, or because it is open, although it's absolutely safe. They've never had an incident. It's just more about perception. They're obviously totally safe in terms of the fact they're zipped up, but it's just that communal area in the middle is open to is not zipped up. So if you're staying in Little Naibor, it's a totally separate vehicle. You can have your own game vehicles. You have your own dining area. And have our own little campfire area as well. But guests are also welcome to come and join the main mess area as well in the evenings. And we find most guests really enjoy doing that. They like their privacy during the day, but they actually really like it in the evening coming together, because everyone's hosted around a big table. They also have a spa tent in Naibor, so you can have a massage to the sound of wildebeest grunting in the background. The main mess area is this lovely decked wooden area overlooking the plains on the other side. You can actually see a little hippo there if you've got good eyesight there. And we have a resident pod of hippo at Naibor, which always provide a lot of amusement for guests to sit there on the deck and just watch the hippos and watch the game on the other side of the plains over the river. So it's a beautiful spot to sit and relax, have your lunch or read a book. And there is Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi in this main mess area here. And the Wi-Fi is excellent. We don't put it in the rooms because we just feel actually just to have it in one location, it means the guests aren't on it the whole time. And actually a lot of parents have said, thank goodness they're not in the rooms, because it means the kids actually do, when they come to the rooms, they properly switch off. So in terms of dining, at lunchtime is much more informal, kind of buffet style dining, as and when people come back from their game drives. They can help themselves to lunch and sit under the trees, overlooking the river, having their lunch. And then dinner, they all meet for pre-dinner drinks around the campfire here on the right-hand side, and then all sit together around a table together. Now, I think often people are apprehensive about having the hosted dinners, particularly us Brits. We're not particularly sociable and good at mixing. But generally, it really, really works when you're on safari, because you've all got something to talk about. You've all got common interests, and that's what you've seen and what you've done that day. So there's always a talking point. So these hosted dinners are often the highlight of people's holidays. So there's a huge, big, beautiful table. They all sit around and they're hosted by the camp managers who are brilliant at doing their job. But if you did have guests who didn't want to do that, that's no problem. They can have dinner on their own under the trees. So they can be set up with a totally private dining experience. So Naibor Wilderness is the more kind of rustic element of the camp. And this, as I say, was set up about 6 years ago. And really because we have a lot of private groups that come through, particularly photographic safaris, that want their own private space. So Naibor's located just next to the main camp, but they've got 3 tents and a private mess tent. So you can either take it over exclusively, or if you had guests whose budget didn't stretch to main Naibor, they can stay in Naibor Wilderness and still join in with all the main mess area and all the dinners and everything, but they just have a slightly cheaper room. In fact, actually in peak season, it's $150 difference. So it's quite a substantial saving, if you're staying during peak season. But essentially you have exactly the same food, exactly the same guiding, exactly the same safari experience. The only thing that's different is the location isn't quite as good. So you're set back slightly from the river. So you don't have that river view, but also you are, the design is slightly more simple, so more kind of raw iron rather than that lovely chunky wooden furniture. And then Naibor Wilderness also has their own private mess area as well. So if you had guests that are, obviously if you've got a small group that take this over exclusively, but if you had guests who were staying here as a couple, they can either relax in this mess area here, or they're welcome to come along to the main mess area and be with the other guests as well. So really, what you do when you're at Naibor, it's all about getting out into the savannah. You are in the heart of the ultimate safari, experience. This is where safari began, and it's just got this beautiful kind of quintessential African open savannah, which is what the Africa we all kind of dreamed of as children. So it's really about getting out to go on these game drives, seeing the game, just having the most amazing game experience, literally right on our doorstep. So this is during the wildebeest migration. This is breakfast. So what we often do, what we tend to do with guests is actually take them out and have breakfast out in the bush, and then come back for lunch, and then go out for an evening drive and have sundowners, then come back for dinner. And obviously one of the key reasons for being in this area is because of the wildebeest migration. So Naibor is actually 10 minutes drive from the nearest wildebeest crossing. And that tends to happen between July and October in Kenya. So you really are, in the heart of the action, and it's just the most phenomenal experience. And if you go to Naibor's Instagram page, you'll see some phenomenal images of the migration. But it's also about hot air ballooning, seeing the big cats. Particularly between January and March is really, really good for seeing cats in this area. So that's a very popular time for guests to go as well. You can, as I mentioned earlier, you can do walking safaris. You go out into the Talek Conservancy to do the walking safari. All our guides are local Kenyan. They've all been trained up by Nigel Archer, who's the owner of Naibor, is a private guide himself. So he's trained them up. So the quality of guiding is just phenomenal. So why Naibor? Well, it's really the most ultimate location right in the heart of the Mara Reserve. You are literally, within driving out of the camp, you are there immersed in intense game viewing experience. There's 3 different accommodation types to suit every budget, with really spacious tents. And it's really the kind of classic safari style. It's big game viewing, excellent food, guiding, accommodation. As I said, at the beginning, it's a very, very, very safe cell. I've been working with them 15 years, and I can count on one hand the number of complaints I've had in 15 years. It's just, they always deliver. So before I end, I'm just going to play you a short film, which actually Nigel Archer, who I mentioned, who is the owner, has actually given the voiceover for. So it's, hopefully you can all hear it through your speakers, but it's a very powerful film, and I can send this through to you as well to use for your in your cells as well.
Naibor is a Masai word. It basically means clarity, space, whiteness, simplicity. You know, the Mara, until you experience it, is very hard to actually describe. You've got the altitude, you've got the big blue skies, you've got incredible scenery, and the most amazing wildlife. The first time I saw the Mara, it was probably when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I can remember just driving in here with my old man and just seeing the big, beautiful open plains just dotted with wildlife. You know, it inspired me back then, and it still inspires me. Naibor is located in the heart of the Masai Mara. The beauty of our location, we're right in the middle of where everything happens. And when it comes to the big cats, it comes to buffalo, elephant, literally everything is on our doorstep. Naibor is a traditional East African safari-style tented camp. Beds are big, spacious, comfortable beds, feather pillows, hot showers, space, simplicity. That's basically what we offer here at Naibor. Exceptional game drives. You can very easily expect to see the big five. Some great cultural experiences can be had. Hot air ballooning. If you've been sitting in the car for a few hours, it's quite nice just to be able to have a nice massage. Sundowners are a favourite. You know, when you're coming back in the evening, you've just had some remarkable game viewing. So then you stop under a tree, have a gin and tonic, watch the sun go down. I think the memories that I'd like guests to take home with them once they've stayed at Naibor is the smiling faces of all the staff, the hippos in front of the camp, the food, comfortable bed, and a really nice hot shower. A lot of people will ask me what's special about Naibor. It's just an incredible safari location. For a pure wildlife experience, it's very hard to beat Naibor.